Sure, you want to show up the base, but with these magical, whatever it is, 20% of people that are not identified or do not self-identify themselves with either party, what's the way to get them?
I think just naturally independents are going to gravitate towards that Republican agenda and Republican platform because the planks in our platform are the strongest to build a healthy America. We're all about cutting taxes and shrinking government and respecting the inherent rights of the individual and strengthening families and respecting life and equality. You have to shake your head and say, who wouldn't embrace that? Who wouldn't want to come on over? They don't have to, though, necessarily be registered within the Republican Party in order to hook up with us and join up with that agenda, standing on those planks. In Alaska, about 70% of Alaskans are independent. So that's my base. That's where I am from, and that's been my training grounds, is just implementing common sense conservative solutions. Independents appreciate that. You're going to see more and more of that attraction to the GOP by these independents as the days go on.
If the GOP articulates what you just articulated. So I've always believed the way to get Reagan got them by just being who he was, articulating conservatism. But conservatism is nothing different than the founding principles of the country. Therefore, the key to getting independence is Republicans who can articulate those beliefs.
You know, another key to this, too, is to not hesitate duking it out within the party. This is what I appreciate about the Republican Party. We have contested, aggressive, competitive primaries. We're not like this herd mentality, like a bunch of sheep with the fighting instincts of sheep, as Horowitz would say, like some in the Democrat Party, where, heaven forbid, you take a stand and you oppose somebody within your own party because it's the right thing to do. I appreciate that in the Republican Party. Some on the other side say that they're observing what goes on in the GOP and say that's infighting and they can't get along and there's no consensus there. No, this is healthy debate, good competition. It makes candidates work harder. It makes for a better product, if you will, at the end of the day. I appreciate that about our party.
We are talking to Governor Sarah Palin. We take a brief prosperity timeout. We'll be back and continue with Governor Palin right after this. And we're back, our remaining moments, with former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin starting her book tour today. Let's talk about your book tour, your career in general, Governor Palin. Who are you trying to reach, and for what purpose with the book and your book tour? What's your goal here?
Well, I'm not trying to reach the liberal elites in this country, and it's a good thing I'm not trying to because I'm not succeeding there. Just everyday, hardworking Americans who want government back on their side, and I want to help them have their voice be heard, and the book is all about that, and the book is about my record and my accomplishments as a mayor and as a governor that kind of lay the foundation for Americans to see where it was that I was and how I got to where I am, and it was just a lot of hard work, and it was a lot of very common sense measures that I undertook politically and practically speaking, and the book is about that, and hopefully people will read it and enjoy it and learn something from it.
What's our biggest energy challenge as a country? Do you believe at all or some or a lot in the modern-day go green movement of solar and wind and all of these nefarious things that really don't produce anything yet?
I think there's a lot of snake oil science involved in that, and somebody's making a whole lot of money off people's fears that the world is it's kind of tough to figure out with the shady science right now. What are we supposed to be doing right now with our climate? Are we warming or are we cooling? I don't think that Americans are even told anymore if it's global warming or just climate change. And I don't attribute all the changes to man's activities. I think that this is, in a lot of respects, cyclical, and the earth does cool and it warms. And our greatest challenge with energy is that we're not tapping into the abundant domestic supplies that God created right underfoot on American soil and under our waters. It's ridiculous that we are circulating hundreds of billions of dollars a year in foreign countries, asking them to ramp up production so that we can purchase it from them, especially from the regimes that can control us via energy, using it as a weapon against us potentially. It's nonsense that this administration and past administrations haven't really understood yet that inherent link between energy and security. And I think more and more Americans are waking up to the fact, though, and we will hopefully see changes there soon.
Vice President Biden chided you, saying it's a little bit more complicated, Governor Palin, than drill, baby, drill, which is one of your chapter titles. What's complicated about drilling for oil?
Exactly. What is complicated about tapping into abundant, safe domestic supplies that could provide stability for our country and security for our country? I know Alaska has the billions of barrels of oil underfoot, and we have the natural gas that's waiting to be tapped too, and other states do too. It's not that complicated. It's political, and that's what the shame is in this, is that for political reasons we're not allowing to tap these domestic supplies.
What are your thoughts on the congressional health care reform bills going through the House and the Senate?
Well, we don't really know, do we, what's in that Senate version, the Senate consideration. It will be soon, but we have no idea of costs. We don't know how many will be insured. We're waiting to hear all that. We don't know if the tax funding of abortions will be in this new version that's sitting over on the Senate side. We don't know if those who choose not to purchase this government-mandated level of coverage will face jail time as punishment. There are so many questions unanswered. I don't like the idea in general of the federal government thinking it needs to take over health care, which essentially this is, and control 1/6 of our economy, not when there are common-sense solutions to meeting health care challenges in our country, like allowing the intra- and interstate competition with insurers, tort reform, cutting down on the waste and fraud that the Obama administration insists if we just did that, we'll pay for this $1.some trillion health care reform package. So lots of common sense solutions that need to be plugged in before ever considering federal government taking it over.
You mentioned earlier you wanted to talk about national security, that you hoped it came up. Well, here it is. What do we face? What are our threats, and are we prepared or not?
Well, I think domestically a threat that we're facing right now is the dithering and hesitation in sending a message to the terrorists that we're going to claim what Ronald Reagan claimed. Our motto is going to be, we win, you lose. The way that we do that is allow McChrystal to have the reinforcements that he's asking for in Afghanistan. That sends that message to the terrorists over there that, no, we're going to end this thing with our victory. We need to start facing Iran with tougher and tougher sanctions that need to be considered. We need to work with our allies with the Iranian issues like Britain and France, and not allow access to favorable international monetary deals. That's a great threat that I think would kind of shake up Ahmadinejad and get him to listen. We need to look at halting Iran's imports of refined petroleum products. They're quite reliant on imported gasoline, and we need to use that hammer to wake up the leadership there too. Those are two big challenges that we have right now, domestically and in naming those two countries, Afghanistan and Iran. Two big challenges there too.
30 seconds, immigration. Can you do it in 30 seconds before we have to go?
I can't do it in 30 seconds, but just know that, let me put it simply. Illegal immigrants are called illegal for a reason. We need to crack down on this. We need to listen to the border states where the governors there have some solutions, and we need to get serious about that.
Governor Palin, thanks very much. It's been a pleasure. It's been fun. Thanks for last week as well. And good luck on what I know is going to be a life-changing book and book tour.
Hey, thank you. Keep up the good work,
Thank you.
All the best to all your listeners.
Well, I think I know